So here we are, moving on to the next stage of this particular project, my 1927 Colt Detective Special model. And in the first part of this project, we printed the parts and took stock of all the components that we printed, just to have a look at them and see how they were going to fit together and if there were any serious problems that I would have to deal with down the line. Well, there was a couple of problems, and the most noticeable here, and I've done a quick test assembly of the component parts. You'll notice this white section here. Now, one of the main things that I mentioned in the first part was that I was not happy with the PLA filament that I'd printed this model with. It turned out to be, it wasn't my usual brand of filament, and this particular brand turned out to be exceptionally brittle. In fact, I didn't have to handle the parts too much for things to start breaking. And one of the main things that you'll notice here that I've had to completely replace is the loading gate, well, the cylinder gate here, that I've now done reprinted in my usual PLA filament, which is the Flash Forge filament. That's all the white stuff here. There's several parts here that I've had to just completely replace because they were just breaking as I was going along. And I wasn't particularly handling this model roughly. It was just breakages that were happening as I was doing some of the sanding, which is what this stage is all about. It's about the fit and finish prior to the painting, the final assembly, and paint and final assembly. All right, so what is the fit and finishing? It's basically the test fitting of all the parts to check that they are fitting properly or whether they need some more work, and finishing off any of the initial superficial work that I'd done. Now, I mentioned in the first part that one of the major jobs that I did was the ironing, using my hot tool to smooth out some of the roughest areas of this print. There was a couple of rough areas. Not everything turns out perfect when you're FDM printing. Something usually is worse than the other parts. And in particular, I'll highlight this particular part, the back strap of the frame here. Now, I'll put up a picture here of what it looked like. It didn't look very nice at all. But as you can see, I've done some preparatory sanding, and that smoothed that out quite nicely. Until this point, as you can see from this original photo, it looked like it was welded with the hot iron. But now it's smoothed out rather nicely. And I've given quite a lot of the parts here a kind of cursory sanding. Some didn't need a lot of sanding at all. In fact, I was fairly happy with the quality of the printout of this model. It's quite a nice model. There's some parts that are nearly perfect. We'll look at the side frame here, the surface here, it's beautifully flat. But there was some other parts that weren't so good. I think, have I left any parts here that are a bit dodgy still? Perhaps under the frame here. I haven't touched this so much with my sanding, and you can still see that from the hot ironing, this particular part, and here particularly, looks very rough, as if it's been welded. And on the front of this new replacement part, you can see that's still quite rough. And this is what I'm dealing with now. I'm actually using various methods of sanding in what I think of as a three-stage process, where I go from a rough sanding to progressively finer sanding. And that's what we'll look at now. So first of all, I'll take this model to bits again. It's just a dry fitting. In other words, I haven't permanently glued any parts in place. So all comes to part fairly easily. I'll take off the side panel there. Trigger, hammer, he says, if I can get it. Yeah, trying to be careful here because I don't want to break anything else. And this is probably the toughest bit, the barrel, which is quite tight, so I want to be careful as I'm taking this off. And this is all the major component parts to this model. Okay, so let's have a closer look at what we have to do. Now, as I said, I've already started sanding in what I term as my 3-stage process. So I started out with a heavy grit sanding block, particularly on this back strap here. That needed quite a hefty bit of work to do. You can probably see actually inside here, these areas which are going to be inside the grip. So I haven't bothered finishing these off, and you still see the kind of layer lines and how rough some of this was, but how I've gradually smoothed this down. So I started off with a sanding block, just an ordinary DIY sanding block. Then I moved down to finer sanding sticks like this, and then finally I move on to wet and dry paper like this. Now for modelling, I usually make my own little tools. You can buy specialist modelling sanding sticks, but they tend to be costly. So what I tend to do is make my own little devices like this. And all this is taking commercial wet and dry paper, which you can buy in packs like this. You get quite a lot for your money. Cut it up, and I double-sided sticky tape it to things like lolly sticks, or if I need a more rounded profile, to a pencil here like this, and then work into the more awkward parts of the model, going from sort of rougher sanding paper like this down to quite fine sanding paper like this, and that's how I ended up getting this nice smooth finish. I know at this stage it doesn't look as if it's smooth because it hasn't been painted yet, but there's still a couple of stages of the finishing process, including priming to do, and believe me, once that's done, this should smooth out very nicely indeed. I've checked the fit of the parts. For example, let's have a look at the side gate again, like this, the side panel. Now, straight off the printer, this did not fit at all. Absolutely did not fit. It wouldn't even go together properly. So I had to do a fair amount of work, sanding bits and trimming bits off even, to get this side panel to fit into the frame as it does now. And what I did with this is I either used perhaps my craft knife like this, or I'll just show you another tool that I use. Here we go. Now this is a specialist modelling tool. It's a mini chisel. I don't know if you can see that, but it's an exceptionally fine chiseling tool. And this is great for finishing little models like this, particularly when you've got really hard to get to parts. You can chisel away at some of these, and indeed that's what I did, to the point where the side panel eventually did fit nicely onto the frame. So it's going through these various processes, starting big and working down until very fine. I can use things like these jewelers or Swiss files, which I use to get to the really fine parts of the model. And eventually through this process of going big to small, I end up using another specialist tool, which is one of the few specialist tools that I think is actually worth its salt, which is the Display reciprocating sander. Now I've used this in a lot of models. You can see it. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. And this comes with various sanding heads and a series of different grit little sticky on panels which you can apply to the sanding heads on here, and this is great for getting into some of the really awkward areas of the model. So I work down to this, continually getting finer and finer, and hopefully the surface area is getting smoother and smoother until I'm happy with them. And that's it, the fitting and finishing process. I'm fairly happy with the fit. There's a couple of areas that still need a little bit of work. For example, I've still got this large crack on this side of the frame, which I believe was caused because the inside here has these molded parts inside it, and that caused some sort of stress on the model, which ended up causing this crack. So how do I deal with that? So beyond the initial sanding stage, I go on to the filling stage. And for that, I use a couple of different materials. For this kind of crack here, I would tend to use something like this modelling putty, which is like a paste, really. And I'll just show you how this works, because it's really quick to use. I'll just get one of my palette knives here. You get your putty, squidge a bit on like that. This is going to be hard to see because the putty is grey itself, but you can probably see that I've put a blob in there, and it's kind of like plastering, really. You take your knife and you spread it on like this, trying to get it as smooth as you possibly can, because the smoother you get it, the better the finish will eventually be, because you don't want to just end up putting a really huge blob on and then having to sand it all down again. So I try and get in there and get a nice smooth surface to it. There you go, that's not too bad. There we go. So I'll let that dry now, and then again we'll go back and repeat the stages of sanding from rough to smooth, and hopefully we can get that crack there to be completely invisible. Well, that's what we hope, fingers crossed. Now, there are some other bits as well which need filling or treating with some sort of putty, but unfortunately this kind of putty, which is a little bit more liquid, it's more like a paste, and this isn't suitable for example, where the grip goes into this alcove here, that rounded alcove, that is very raggy, and I want a nice sharp edge to that. Well, what am I going to use for that? Well, you can't use this because because it's more on towards the liquid side of putty, there's no support for it. Also, if you need a piece reinforced and are going to use putty, you want something that's going to have its own integral strength. And what I use for that is something like milliput, which is a two-part kind of epoxy affair. You mix these two parts up and it becomes something akin to plasticine, which you can then mould onto the part that you want to repair or reinforce and leave it to dry, and it becomes solid. I will show you. This is another project I'm working on where I'm repairing this ornament, and I had to make these little replacement parts of the heads of ducks because the owner lost the original ones. These were done in milliput. I put them through a mould, and I don't know if you can hear that, but now they've dried. This is after about 24 hours. It's like stone, and then can be sanded and trimmed. It's fantastic stuff to use, but it's not suitable for everything. As I say, there's some occasions like that crack where this kind of modelling putty, the paste type, is more suitable. And there we go. So this is what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just going round and round the model, checking all the parts until I'm happy with the kind of quality of the finished surface. And once that's done, we'd move on to the assembly stage prior to painting. Now, we won't completely assemble everything because some parts are better painted individually before assembly, but that's a different process and we'll cover that in part 3. So I'll end up this video by going through one of the last parts that I mentioned but didn't show in the last episode of this project, which were the grips. Now, I printed out the grips, but I decided to print them out in a fake wood filament, and I'll just show you what we've got. This is like the finished article, these fake wood grips here, and I'll show you a couple of pictures just up here of the stages of how I got to these finished grips. So I haven't gone through these stages and got to this, and I'm quite pleased with how these turned out. They look fairly much like wood, even though they are filament. As you can see, I've used the sanding process again to get the smoothness, and eventually I stained these as well with a wood stain. Even though they were supposed to be a wood colour, I wanted a richer colour, so I chose a stain to do these. And then once everything else is painted, these can fit onto the model like this. Now you probably see here what I was talking about this, where the grip is supposed to fit in there. You can see daylight through that little crack, well, it isn't a crack, space between the frame and the grip here, and that's what I'm going to fill using the Milliput. And that's it. Well, that's stage 2. All the fit and finishing and getting ready, preparing stuff ready to start looking into painting, which again will be a multi-part process, because we'll start off with priming, maybe apply an undercoat of the finish colour, and then a top coat. So that'll be a multi-stage process as well. So there we go, that's as far as we've got so far. I hope you're enjoying this, and thanks very much for watching.